Hi everybody. The topic for today's video is worse than being dead. The experiences of dementia caregivers and what you can do if you are a dementia caregiver of someone who has behaviors that are beyond what you ever imagined. So how many of you have heard of BVFTD? It means behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. And it most commonly shows up in people under age 65. So people who are relatively young. Now the challenge is that it is very, did I say very, difficult to diagnose because the component of memory loss may not always be present, or it may not be as significant as someone with a different type of dementia or Alzheimer's disease. The other difficulty is that many times BVFTD is confused with mental illnesses like schizophrenia or bipolar behavior. And for BVFTD, getting a diagnosis can take years and seeing multiple doctors with multiple appointments. So I'm going to share in this video what you can do. Now, if you're watching this and you don't know if they have BVFTD or if they have another type of dementia or Alzheimer's, stay with me because I'm going to talk about the behaviors that accompany many of these dementias. And it's also important to understand that these behaviors are a result of a health diagnosis or a disease. They are not because this person who you used to love now hates you or wants to make your life miserable. Honestly, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea the effects of their words or their actions on you or anybody else. And I know it's easy to want to take this personally because they're your parent, they're your spouse, they're your brother or sister. But it's important to put this all into perspective. So in this video, I'm going to share information about BVFTD that affects people earlier in life, and also just general behaviors for all caregivers of people with dementia. So stay with me as I talk about managing care for aging parents, a spouse, other people who have these behaviors that you never thought would happen. And if you don't really know, this may give you some insight on whether your loved one has behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. I know it's a tongue twister. Now, the caveat is that these behaviors do not relate to lifelong habits, and I'm going to share more about that because I have a lot of caregivers who I meet with in one-on-one consultations and I meet with at the conferences and events that I speak at, and they are honestly at their wits' end. They are at the end of their rope because they are emotionally drained by these behaviors that only seem to just get worse. And many times these caregivers are the ones that think that they're losing their minds. Well, you're not. You are in a very difficult situation that may make you feel like you're losing your mind. It also may make you feel guilty about the way that you feel about your spouse or the parent that you care for or somebody else, because these behaviors, the care that they need, is having a very negative effect on your life and your health. So stay with me while I share more background, helpful tips. If this is your first time here, I'm Pamela D Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker who helps adults and their caregivers and families work through the health, financial, and legal aspects of caregiving, including all those crazy family dynamics. You can learn more about me and my professional experience by going below this video. Scrolling down, you'll find links to my website, my bio, how to schedule a one-to-one consultation with me. Please do like this video, follow my channel, share these and all the videos on my channel. And please do comment, even if it's only to say thanks for the video or to share your situation. One thank you makes a difference for so many other people. Caregivers all over the world, people all over the world with health issues who are looking for this type of hope, help, and support. They can find these videos and they can find my channels. So thank you in advance for liking, sharing, and commenting. So let's start with signs that your loved one may have BVFTD. It can be recognized by new changes in behavior. So again, your parent, your spouse did not have these behaviors throughout their lifetime. So let me give you a few examples of new behaviors or things you might be noticing. The first one is inappropriate social behavior. You used to go out in public and everything was good, polite, pleasant, happy, great interacting skills. All of a sudden, you go out in public or somebody comes to your house and your loved one starts saying bad words. They just insult somebody or say something like so out of character that you are embarrassed. They're making inappropriate statements about everything. And the fact is that this is new. It's something that hasn't happened before, but it's starting to happen more and more and more. So you may be afraid to take them out of the house. You may be afraid to have friends or people come over because they're going to insult somebody and you know it's going to happen. Number 2, and this is an interesting one because many caregivers tell me that their loved ones are at the point where they just don't care about anything. And so there's this lack of, the term is called apathy, no interest in doing anything. Maybe your loved one wants to just sit in front of the television all day, or they sit and they stare out the window. And they don't really care how they look, don't care about their appearance or anything like that. They just don't want to do anything. They don't have any interest in learning new hobbies or listening to music or going anywhere or doing anything. And even though you may have a conversation with them and they say, oh yeah, I want to do that, or I'll do that, they never actually do it. They cannot follow through. This is a big sign. The next one that relates to this lack of empathy and just not wanting to do anything is this lack of empathy, and it's a lack of sympathy, right? So you're exhausted, you're tired, they really don't care. They want their cup of coffee. They want dinner. They want the TV channel changed. It's too hot in the house. It's too cold in the house. Oh, the food you made, blech, 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 right? They don't care about anything. They're not even nice to you. Your loved one at this point no longer cares about your feelings or the feelings of anybody else. And you cannot, as much as you would love to, you cannot reason with them. You can't have a conversation that says, could you be a little nicer? Maybe you could be a little polite. Maybe you could be a little thankful. Well, they may say thankful in that moment, and then the next moment, they're complaining about something else. The number 4 sign of BVFTD is they have had or are starting to have changes in relationships with other people. Now, know that these 4 signs may happen independently of each other, or they may happen sequentially. And this was kind of be an earlier one. So it's a change in relationships with other people, with friends, with people in the workplace, due to these inappropriate social behaviors, due to just saying what they think, insulting other people, not being empathetic, the inability to have a two-way conversation or a two-way relationship, which really they no longer have with you, the caregiver. It's all you giving. They are not giving you anything back except for the fact that their presence is there. They are there either in your home or they're in their home. Number 5 is an interesting one, and it relates to obsessive compulsive behaviors or perseverative behaviors, behaviors that repeat. So, wanting to spend money, wanting to buy things, ups and downs in mood, being obsessed with a particular TV show or a book or some topic that they just cannot move off of. Some of these behaviors also relate to bipolar disorder. So it's easy to confuse BVFTD with bipolar disorder or even schizophrenia. Your loved ones with BVFTD can start to have poor judgment in making decisions. They buy something online and they spend $1,000. And they didn't really think that that was that much until they look at their income and they realize, wow, my income this month is $200. Now I have an $800 deficit. They can do crazy things like bring strangers into your home. They can also exhibit just angry and aggressive behaviors that show up out of nowhere. One minute they're calm and the next minute they are ranting and raving. There also may be habits related to food and eating habits. Maybe they used to be a very neat, particular eater and now they're sloppy. They're getting food all over the place. Maybe they want junk food or sweet foods or salty foods and that's all they want to eat. Maybe they're up in the middle of the night raiding the refrigerator, eating everything in there, eating a whole pie, eating a whole cake. So, if you are a caregiver noticing any of these behavior changes, and there's no memory loss, they seem to be, tracking reasonably okay there. What can you do and how can you plan? And what types of systems and processes do you need in place? Well, my first recommendation is to just start to note all these behaviors. Start a notebook so that you have this information. Because as I mentioned, neurological, psychological, memory, medical testing cannot always diagnose this type of dementia when it first starts to occur. It can take a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, and by then you are way deep into this. So by you tracking and documenting the behaviors, if for no other reason, you have a date that they started and you've got a timeline that you can show to healthcare professionals, but it's important for you to document this so that you know that it is not you. You are not causing the behaviors. It's not you losing your mind. Your loved one has a neurological disorder up here that is progressive and that they cannot control. The bad news is it affects you and your relationship with them. I know that that is absolutely no consolation for the behaviors and the verbal abuse and the physical abuse that you might suffer as a consequences of this diagnosis. Many caregivers and loved ones with people who have different types of dementia and BVFTD tell me that they have a low quality of life. They don't enjoy life anymore. They're consumed by this person, by taking care of this person. Some actually have considered suicide because they honestly feel that if this is what my life is going to be like for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I would be better off dead than have to live with this person, helping this person under these circumstances. The bright light here is you have a choice. Regardless of whether you think you have a choice or not, you have a choice. And here's the choice. You can continue to live in these current circumstances, or you can make a plan and you can set up systems to make a change. So if you watched the other videos here on my website, you know that many people do not know how to or don't want to change their caregiving situation or even to make a plan for 3 reasons that I will quickly share here. It's because the problem you have or the situation you are living in day in and day out isn't bad enough yet to make you want to do anything about it. Now, here's the thing. Caregivers would show up in my office and they'd say, Pamela, I knew about you 2 years ago. Had your business card, I've seen you speak, I've been to your website, but it wasn't that bad until now. Now, it's really bad. If you wait until it's that bad, you may find yourself in a place of no return, at a point of no return, where you are so burned out and exhausted that you don't have the energy to do anything about it. So do not wait. Contact me, schedule a one-to-one consultation, find help elsewhere, do something about it today, tomorrow, this week. The number 2 reason for why people don't make plans or change their situation is that they feel that the situation they're in is way above their skill level. You've heard me before talk about caregivers being at different levels. Maybe on 1st floor, 3rd floor, 5th floor. And these levels relate to our experience in life and how we deal with things and how we learn to deal with things. So, if you're on level 1 or 3 and you don't have the experience, it's okay. Find somebody else who does. Because if you feel like the situation you have is more than you can deal with and you don't know what to do and you don't know where to go, then you're not going to do anything about it because you feel like you can't solve the problem. And in some cases, you may not even know what the problem is or what problem you have to solve or how to solve it. I also help with that. Number 3, this is even more common. People do not solve problems or make plans because of the emotional distress of the situation. If you're going to change your situation, you may have to make a difficult decision. And you're not emotionally prepared to do that. You feel guilty. You just are stuck. You're emotionally torn. You can't even think about rationally about what needs to be done because you're spending all this time over here in your emotions. And people don't do it. Even if making this change would be better for the caregiver and the person who needs care, they still feel stuck. I understand because I've helped thousands of families in these very challenging situations. Identify issues, create plans and systems to move forward that have better outcomes for you and the people that you care for. So if you're feeling stuck, know that there are options. Scroll below, you can find that link to schedule a one-to-one consultation with me. So I want to take this diagnosis of behaviors, BVFTD, further and have you ask yourself these questions to kind of maybe get you to move a little forward here. If your loved one is living alone, how much of a risk is there that these behaviors can affect their safety and their well-being, or the safety and the well-being of some stranger that comes into their home or somebody that they interact with somewhere? Are they likely to hurt themselves or somebody else? Are they likely to say something to a stranger who is not going to take that kindly and react badly? Second question, if one of these individuals is your parent, what is the effect of these behaviors on your parent who is the caregiver? Is it stressful? Is it wearing them out? Are they in one of those places where they don't want to make a difficult decision? They're emotionally stuck. Situation's way over their head. If they are in this situation, how can you help them? Number 3, let's say you're an adult caring for a widowed or separated parent. What are these effects of these behaviors on you, your life, your family, your children if you have them, your health, your friends? Have you already given up so much of your life, sacrificed parts of your life to care for this person? And you're beginning to feel emotionally worn out and possibly a little angry, possibly a little resentful. What is this doing to your life? Because I can tell you the other person has no concept, no understanding of what their behaviors are doing to you. BVFTD, it's a terrible, terrible neurological disease. All dementias are terrible. But this one can significantly and negatively affect the life of you if you're the caregiver. So if you don't want your life and health negatively affected, whether or not you have a firm diagnosis or not, ask yourself, is it time to do something different? Is it bad enough that you're ready to help yourself? Is it time for you to make a better plan for yourself and the person that you care for, which may mean that you are not the only caregiver, which may mean that you are not a full-time caregiver? These are questions that every dementia caregiver should ask themselves. Am I the best caregiver in this situation? When I'm worn out, when I'm exhausted, when my health is not good, when I may not be doing the best job for this person that I love, is this the best situation? If not, it's time to do something else. I thank you all so much for being here. Again, more information about me and how I help caregivers and families is below. Please do like this video, follow my channel, share these videos, comment below, even if it's only to say thank you for the video. That little single thank you makes a big difference in helping caregivers all over the world find my channel and these videos. Thank you for being here again. I will see you all again soon in another video.